that the jurisdiction of this land belongs to the local authority. However, our local authority, which is currently the municipal council, which has a lot of land and plots that are privatized on their account. While we are having this problem with people running around with their animals, not having land, we are also having problem with malnutrition, which is outbreaking in the Hobabes constituency, and also other people from other cases. But the minor problem, primary concern is in the Hobabes constituency, which has people that are hungry. So now, Honorable Vice President, if together with the minister in cabinet, if they can advise the municipal council to even avail land for productivity of agricultural activities, it will bring us to a solution as well.
Thank you.
Please, just one more minute, through the Vice President. And also, secondly, the issue of agriculture, crime. It is confirmed here. Omaheke currently is at the peak of rise in terms of theft in animals, livestock theft. Also to that end, due to unemployment, the moment that you have hunger is as a result of unemployment. And the moment that you have unemployment, you have crime. So now, as a result of that, our current government has been trying its best, of course, to provide alternatives and incentives to give job opportunities. However, agriculture is a very, very imperative sector which needs to be empowered in various ways. For example, such as integrating education, especially, Comrade Dylan, please. In terms of, for example, integrating vocational education and agriculture into one sector so that education can also be empowered in the terms of agriculture with vocational education, in order for young people to also start having an interest in agriculture. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. I've received indication that we have allowed enough. We also need to give opportunity for a very important address by our VP. There is ample opportunity. Commissioner will be available after the engagement, correct? Commissioner will be available after the engagement. Please. Can we please respect each other? Can we please respect each other? Can we please respect each other? The moment I allow one, I'll need to allow the next. I have received instruction. I've received instruction. Instruction? Yeah. The instruction is and is final. The instruction is and is final. For those of you that have submissions, please bring them to the front so I can compile them and give them over. Those that have submissions, like these ones I received, I see, ma'am, you have a submission. Kindly bring it so I can hand it over. No. It doesn't work like that, ma'am. It doesn't work like that. Comrade VP, as per the instruction of any more submissions? Your submissions, please. It's all we received so far. It's all we received so far. Cut off. Thank you. They have been handed over. Your submissions have been handed over. Yeah. Thank you. Honorable Governor. The Governor have the... Okay, just... the Governor, if you could just hold on. our keynote.
Yeah. Good afternoon, middag. Now the big moment that we all were waiting for. Our Vice President is going to communicate with us. She's going to respond to some of the issues. It was a very long day. It was a day of engagement. Our sincere apology to everyone who wanted to speak and could not speak, but at least submissions have been given. And to somehow our problems are very unique. Now I am asked to introduce the Vice President, and she's very known to you all. And I do not want to spend too much time in introducing her. Kan ons net stel de kry asseblief mense? I just want to say that our Vice President was until very recently our Deputy Prime Minister. She is one person, Meviki, Shwaro Hingiret Fara to Praten. She is, until recently, our Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of International Relations. She is that type of person that you can say tested and trusted and went through all the possible schools. Have been Minister of Environment from 2010 to 2012. Have been Minister of Information and Communication 2005 to 2010, Minister of Women Affairs and Child Welfare, 2000 to 2005. She fought very, very hard for the issue of zebra style, equality of men and women, and today our parliament is one of the very few parliaments where you have this equal representation between men and women. Today, our government is tending to make history by producing the first female president. Many of you here, and in particular someone here, Mr. Putfauta, have said, Comrade Vice President, your next assignment in your next life as president, make sure you leave a legacy. Now, when people are saying those things, they don't say it by themselves. It's the spirit that makes them say those things. Yeah, we're sometimes not aware. Maar om Beppo, die gees van God soms plus woorde op ons tonke. En daarna dan gaan sê, Mukuru wanje bashavi, wat het ek gesê? Maar dit was die gees van God. So we have our Vice President, who's the presidential candidate of the ruling party. And the other day when I was speaking to someone, one commercial farmer, he said, Governor, ons moet nie regmaak wat nie gebreek is nie. He said, let us not mend what is not broken. We have beautiful country. We have peace and stability. We can sit in a hall like this one, talk, say things about one another, and still walk out here in peace. We can also make jokes about one another and still do not fight. Let us keep this beautiful country in place, and let us do the right thing. And I said that I'm not the very, very best person to introduce the Vice President and call this young man Tembo. Tembo would want to quickly present a song in honor of the Vice President. And then for all of you who have been sitting along, he will then also play a song that will make us quickly loose, so that when the Vice President is going to respond to our questions, we are loosened. Tembo, surprise the Vice President and the audience.
Demperira netumbo nandindai tua. Demperira netumbo nandindai tua. Demperira netumbo nandindai tua. Demperira netumbo nandindai tua. She's a mother from Namibia. She's a one Namibian mother. Yo, demperira, demperira, demperira. Erira, netumbo nandindai tua. Demperira, netumbo nandindai tua. Demperira, netumbo nandindai tua. Demperira, netumbo nandindai tua. Everybody sing with me. E nandindai tua. E nandindai tua. Demperira netumbo nandindai tua. Demperira netumbo nandindai tua. Demperira netumbo nandindai tua. Demperira netumbo nandindai tua. Our Namibian mother, our Namibian mother, our Namibian mother, our Namibian mother. Perira netumbo nandindai tua. Demperira 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 netumbo nandindai tua. The wind of change is sweeping across the African continent. The wind of change is sweeping across the African continent. Over there they say this, oh yeah, Africa, oh yeah, Uhuru, Amandra, Awetu, Aluta, a continua, Mama Viva, Viva Africa, hey, hey, the wind of freedom, oh yeah, the wind of freedom, it's don't stop it, Mama.
Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Governor, for the floor and the introduction, joined by the young men there. The Honorable Ministers, Honorable Regional Councillors here represented or headed by our chairperson of Omaheke Regional Council. Of course, when I say ministers, I also recognize our deputy minister who did a very commendable job here. The Director General, I recognize. So, dear farmers, first and foremost, I sincerely want to thank the Omaheke Regional Council leadership for having organized this engagement and for the opportunity they gave to me to come and hear and learn from you as how best we can drive our agricultural industry. And your theme really tells it all, because you recognize truly so there are challenges, there are difficulties in everything, but difficulties are only difficulties if those who are faced with difficulties are not ready to solve them. And that's why the theme of your engagement is looking at challenges as well as solutions. And that's why I highly commend you. Yes, agriculture is the key for human sustainability, because everything we consume comes from agriculture. Without agriculture, none of us could be here. And that's why there is a say that every person needs a farmer 3 times a day, and can even be more, depends on individual status. So it's therefore important that now and then we can come to, as agricultural practitioners, in order to share information and experience. Governor, today's engagement is very unique because we are standing on the 3 legs, the important symbol of Africa, when we cook on the 3 areas where we put our pot. Because today we are standing on communal farmers, resettled farmers, and commercial farmers. That's how unique this engagement is. I have listened to all the presentation, and clearly, while maybe different words were used, to a certain extent, the challenges are the same. For example, the issue of drought. Definitely, many of the problems expressed here today are a result of the drought that we are experiencing. When we talk about water, yes, we know Namibia is a dry country, but many years of drought, we cannot even talk about 3 years. It's more than that. In fact, early in our independence, we experienced one of the biggest drought. And again, it repeated itself in 2016. So basically, the past 30 years have not been very good years for us. When it's not drought, it's a flood. And remember also, when we started with HIV/AIDS. That had also a negative impact in the agriculture. As many people who could have been working, they were being hospitalized. Some things look small, but if you go deeper, the impact in the whole economy is very big. Therefore, farming, important as it is, we should also accept that farming a lot of challenges, is subjected to so many challenges. One of them, as you have mentioned here, that it's not so attractive for funding commercial banks because it's like a gambling, because you don't know which insect will attack your crops or even your livestock. You don't know which disease will attack your animals, and then you will not be able to pay back. So that's why when our government realized the importance of agriculture, then the agri-bank was established. However, the impact of the drought continue haunting us. I mentioned water, and I agree with one of the presenters who says drilling boreholes is a temporary measure, but it might not, in the long run, solve our water problem. Now we are choice, but here and there, we have to go for boreholes. At the same time, I want to inform you that our government is seriously working on the bulk water supply, whereby we are engaging our neighbors for us to use the water in the rivers along our common borders so that we'll be able to pump water inland. At the same time, desalination is another area that your government is paying special attention, because truly the underground water, we don't know where it's going to take us. We are seeing climate change really catching up. Grazing was another issue that came out during the discussion. And of course, grazing goes with the water. If there is no rain, you will not have good grazing. Yes, it's true that bush encroachment should be managed. I, for one, and I have said this louder and clear when I was a Minister of Environment and Tourism, that conservation and development have to coexist. Conservation and development has to coexist. Environmental protection and development has to coexist. So therefore, bush encroachment should be well managed, not to damage the environment. However, we have to see how we can increase our grazing capacity. I'm sure you might recall some times back, our government, through TPEC, there was a program of debushing, whereby it was developed in a manner that to encourage farmers to debush their land, you should be allocating a price for each kilometer which is debushed, and then you take your part. That is a way for us to clear the area so that we can improve on our grazing. So therefore, conservation, environmental protection, and the development has to coexist. And our Constitution is very clear that we should do every sustainable utilization of our resources for the current and future generation. So therefore, the bushes that we have there, we should sustainably make use of them, either to use them as dry wood, and even going further, as charcoal is one of the business that the farming community can also involve in. The issue of marketing has also been underlined during this discussion. Yes, you can only be encouraged to produce if you have a market. And that's why value addition comes in very handy. Because through value addition, you will widen your productivity and not just to end at the raw material, but you go further and add value. And in the process, you are going to create more jobs. And I agree with the presentation that has been given here, that when you are adding value and you create jobs, you are definitely fighting poverty. Because if people have jobs, they will be able to take care of themselves. And all of us are going to be happy. Also, because of this drought, it is threatening our key industry, which is the beef industry. So therefore, we have to think out of the box in order to protect this industry. Yes, exporting animals on the hoof is important, is trying to reduce so that we can have the capacity that we can consume at home. However, working also as a team, we will be able even to increase our capacity and to have strong value addition to our product, the beef. Currently, the market for Namibian beef is open to the world, where we are going even to get better prices. It's open to Europe, it's open to America, it's open to the Asian countries and the Arab countries. But the problem, we don't have enough meat. So us ready to feed those markets. As your former Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, there has never been a time when I'm discussing officially with people outside Namibia who are not asking about the Namibian beef. If there is a product in Namibia that is well marketed, and it marketed itself because really it's so tasty, it's the Namibian beef. But I always turn to my officials and say, do we have that beef? So therefore, working together, we will be able to add more value to all our animals, and we'll be able to get more than what we are getting now. Of course, it cannot be just done without being planned. It has to be properly planned and done incrementally, and then you will see how our agriculture, particularly the beef industry, will be flourishing. I remember as a Minister of Foreign Affairs, there was a time when the South African closed their borders for the Namibian winners. I'm sure you remember that. They were closed. President Pohamba has to send me to South Africa in order to engage the South African government, literally pleading to them to open the borders for our winners. I went there. I know I was accompanied by some of our farmers. I succeeded. But coming back home, I had a meeting with Namibian farmers. And I say, fellow Namibians, I don't want to be put in this situation anymore. I don't want to be put in this situation to beg for our winners to go out simply because we are not able to feed our animals to grow and become marketable. And we went like not a written agreement. I say, can you please start working seriously for us to grow our fodder and develop our own feedlots so that we can grow our animals here and market them internally. They had given me 4 years that time. I'm still waiting to be told. But I'm telling you, I will stand by that still. I would like to see us strengthening our beef industry. And the little water that we could have, we can invest it in growing the fodder so that we create our own feedlots, so that we can get the maximum benefit from our beef industry. I can assure you, if we succeed to do that, the amount of money we will get selling our beef outside the SADC region could be more than sending our animals on the hoof. But for now, there's the situation, but we need to build the market together. And the market we are talking about is not only for beef. I believe it's for any agricultural product. You are really, every time I come, the friendship between you and me is increasing. Because Omaheke was considered a cattle country. But every time I come, I am seeing an increase in crop production, horticulture, and this is the way to go. Now you are really balancing the agricultural production. And the sky is the limit. I say for agriculture really to serve its purpose, we must start now to identify places that could be production centers and processing centers. Then we talk about industrialization. The quick example is, if we have so many farmers who are producing tomatoes, what prevents us to have a tomato processing plant in Hobabes? Will that be too much? Will it not take up so many jobs? And that should go for the whole country. Some people say our population is too small and we cannot talk about processing. The food we are eating is coming from other countries. So we process and we are eating ourselves and then we export to other countries. We cannot just continue to be a country that is eating what we are not producing and produce what we cannot eat. And we have to start with agriculture. Yes, I was on this discussion when I saw you confirming different subsidies that the government is giving to the farmers. I'm not saying that's enough, but every time in everything there is a start. And I want to inform you that in addition, and these are subsidies which are not related to the drought. Those who are related to drought, you have already articulated them. And the minister, through the deputy minister, explained some of the revisions that have been made. And we say, instead of throwing them away, let us test them. Because throwing them away now, it will take you another 3 months. By the time you get there, you are already on the summer crops. And then you have made a loss. Let us try with what we have, but let us appreciate the subsidies that are introduced. And I want to assure you that the Minister of Agriculture is from Cabinet to improve on the subsidies, because history tells us that agriculture cannot really flourish without being subsidized. All over the world, countries are subsidizing agriculture. So we have to do the same. And one thing here, we are sitting as commercial, communal, and resettled. I was happy to see somebody who stood here, a veteran, who was like a disadvantaged farmer, but today proudly is talking about being a commercial farmer. Time must come when we in Namibia, we are talking about the agricultural sector as one sector. Because agriculture for me is one sector where there is no competition. You should just complement one another. And this is really the way to go. The challenges will always be there, but together we must address them. Together we must address them. Stock theft was properly explained here. And if we as a nation, we really believe in working as a team and serve our nation, that is the way to go. Yes, the colleague who is saying we want to reverse the gains that we have achieved. When now the affirmative action loan beneficiaries, they face a situation whereby their farms are to be taken back by Agribank and then sold by others. As a government, we are stopping that. And that's why the report, which was, when that question was asked, I sent a message to the Minister of Finance that you are going to answer this question, because I'm aware of the discussions that are going on to say that we should not allow this affirmative action to fail. He sent a message back that Comrade Kanjode is going to answer. And truly, he has answered. The answer might not be satisfactory, but I just want to tell you that we are saying we cannot allow people who have really contributed to those farmers, and then in the process, they lose their farms. So it's a discussion, and you know, we have also to do things according to the law, and also not to allow the government to be taken for granted. So that's why every action we are taking, we have to do thorough investigation. Because you might find an affirmed person. I'm not saying that's what is happening, but you never know. You have just to do things carefully and know exactly that you are assisting. Because the affirmative action loans are meant to help as many people as possible. And if you are just writing off, you end up not having money to help another person. So that's why due diligence has to be made, and really to understand what is the cause of this person not able to pay. Maybe it's the capacity, and then we say, fine, let us go now into an agreement like this, and then from here, we are helping you to monitor how you are running your business to enable you to pay back so that another person can also benefit from this project. So we must think things, we must take things, really thinking them at a national level. But definitely our land reform is continuing. The resettlement farms, we also had a serious debate on this. And we are saying the resettled farmers, their capacities must be built. One thing, agriculture is a science. That is make no mistake. And Namibians, when science is talked about, we feel it's a difficult thing, but it's a thing that needs a cool mind. Agriculture is a science. And I'm really appealing and advising our young people to study agriculture in its totality, so that when you get in there, you know exactly what you are doing. 3 weeks ago, I launched a project in Ocho, and I could really see how the project was doing. It was doing so good. Then I was introduced to the people in charge. The leader of the project has a master's in agronomy. the deputy leader has a degree in animal husbandry. Then their two assistants had a diploma in plumbing. You know, when you have irrigation, you need all that. Then I say, you see now, because the capacity is there, the people, they know what they are doing, and that's why this project is doing like this. And I'm so really happy. Where's my... Today I got my favorite here, the one representing the youth. The one I'm told she's doing so successful agriculture, 27 years. And she's doing successful agriculture. And when I asked her to talk, she says she did a training. And because she did it even willingly, she became so productive. And today, we are proud of her. We are looking for more of those people. So, fellow Namibians, yes, there are many challenges. I have listened to issues that were raised, issues related to land, and you are all aware that we had a second land conference. And that second land conference has adopted so many resolutions. And the president, may he so rest in eternal peace, Dr. Hage Godfrey Genkop, set up an implementation committee which is having all the stakeholders chaired by the Prime Minister. Since then, that committee has been meeting and a lot of recommendations have been addressed. There are still those who are outstanding. One of the critical ones was the ancestral land. And you may recall that the president had set up a committee which involved university professors, legal professions, historians that looked into that. And the recommendations or the outcomes were also shared with that committee. And those are some of the issues that are still on the table. We have just to treat this issue as Namibian. One colleague was standing here talking about being discriminated. Our past president said nobody should feel left out. And definitely, we should not treat ourselves in that way. So the issues that you have raised, as the deputy minister has mentioned, some of them truly are responded to by the officials from the Ministry of Agriculture. There are those, like I talked about, to find the permanent solution to the water. We are looking into that. The issue of cooperatives whose license was withdrawn is not off the table, as the deputy minister has mentioned. Therefore, we must all believe in working together as Namibians. And if there's any time that we can really show solidarity, is when we are in difficult times, like now that we are on the drought. Commercial farmers, communal farmers, resettled farmers, we all need one another. When we increase agricultural production, at whatever level, the impact will be felt by all of us. In fact, as a government, we would want to see one agricultural economy in the country. And if we really take it to our hearts, it is going to be possible. The problem is only if we are working at different levels and not really speaking with one heart and one mind. So this time of the drought, let us be working in solidarity with one another. When it comes to food distribution, those of you who have something to eat, please bear with others, those who literally need to be helped. Those who have little grazing, or even because in some areas, it has not been mentioned in Omaheke, but in some areas I have seen some farmers, particularly communal farmers, who are grazing their animals in the corridors. And then along the corridors, because the farmers on the other side, there is a challenge of them not getting water. Please, let us express solidarity during a difficult time. Water is life. You cannot deny another person water. But I know water comes at a cost. And if you have these farmers in the corridors and they are really in need of water, consult your regional councillor in that particular area so that as a government we can see how we can come in. Maybe we could contribute to your water bill or diesel so that we can really give each other water. Otherwise, if we allow others to suffer and all our stock goes so low, it will take time for us to pick up. Comrade Governor, as I conclude, we need to invest in agriculture. We need to invest in agriculture, be it livestock or food production, as it will be able to give us food security, and it will also be able to take our people out of poverty. And only us all who can do it. Yes, someone raised an issue here of people going for registration. I want to invite all of you and to encourage you that as the registration is going on, to register as a voter, this is your responsibility. It's your constitutional obligation to make your voice heard. So go out, register. As our president said, President Nangolo, so that you can get your license to go and vote. Come the 27th November 2024. That's the time you have to use your power. Otherwise, if things do not go the way you want, you should not blame anybody. I have already registered myself. I think those who were on the TV in the morning of the 4th, you have seen me registering because I don't want to fail my responsibility. And you should also not fail your responsibility. Statements have been made here referring to me as next president, but that can only happen if one goes that day and you vote, and the preparation is now until the 1st of August. Director of Ceremony, Comrade Governor, and my dear friend, the chairperson and your council, once again, thank you very much for this kind invitation. And I want to assure all of you present here and all the Namibians listening that agriculture will remain at the center of my heart, because I know what it means to the development of this country, and I want to advise it in totality, and I want all of you as farmers to join in this noble cause for the interest of our country and our people. Thank you for your kind attention.
Let me finish, then we'll go through it. Thank you very, very much, Your Excellency, Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah. We heard your clarion call. Thank you so much. I now have the pleasure to call on Honorable Wenzel Kavaka, Regional Councillor of the Oshombinde constituency, to deliver the closing remarks and the next steps. A round of applause for the councillor, please.
Thank you very much. It's now almost 4:30, and you are farmers. Some of you have to go to Accra. I will be very short and brief, to the point. Thank you very much, Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, Vice President of the Republic of Namibia, for making your way out to come and engage farmers in the Omaheke region under the theme of navigating challenges and cultivating opportunities. We have navigated those challenges. Now we are going to see what are the opportunities that we have to put on, so that all those challenges that are here, we have to categorize them into the short-term category, medium-term category, and then the long-term category. And when we are talking about the long-term, we are not going to talk about something that will be implemented a year and a half from here. Our people want to start seeing the implementation. And our able and capable CRO, as a regional leadership, we will direct the CRO to direct the administration, so that next week when we are coming from Marinda, the very first meeting, we have to get how the things have been categorized. Thank you very much. Also the executive members and the legislature that are here amongst us, especially the Deputy Minister in the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform. You attested here that the government has acquired some rigs, drilling rigs. I think Omaheke should also get one of the drilling rigs, because out of the 33 boreholes, that if you look at the borehole that has been drilled, the money that has been spent into those drilling, they are more than acquiring a drilling rig for a region. We have to acquire a drilling rig for a region, and for the very first time in Omaheke, to see things running very fast. In December, maybe 2 days before Christmas, we had a meeting with the executive director in the OPM, together with the governor and the whole regional leadership. And in that meeting, for the very first time, to get a drilling get started within 3 months. Things were very fast. In March, we started with the drilling. Now we are about to complete the drilling, and it was attested here that 90% of the drilling has been successful. And I was so shocked and surprised, because the person that was sighting water this time, we did not use machine. It was a person who was just using a wire. He was working like this. His name is Kaute. He was working like this. And today, there are villages in Ochombinde. 6 boreholes has been drilled there, all dry borehole. But this time, those boreholes are now successful. We are also embarking on drilling another borehole. And CRO, when you are saying that we have to escalate the implementation rate, when a borehole has been drilled, because drought has been declared as a state of emergency by the president, under state of emergency. So under state of emergency, we have to act in an abnormal way because drought is no longer normal. So those boreholes that has been drilled, Comrade Deputy Minister, please, if it is difficult for your procurement, you know that procurement is challenging, especially the procurement process. Please transfer those funds into Omaheke Regional Council. Within 3 to 2 months, we are going to make sure that those boreholes that has been drilled have been installed. By when we are reaching September, October, there, we have to, yeah, that one we can do it in Omaheke Regional. And I'm also thanking my team that we are working together with. You know, when the chairperson came up with his concept, I said, Wagwedu, boy, we have to get a budget. He said, no, don't worry. We are not going to look at the budget. I say, CRO say, okay, let's see how we are going to maneuver these things out. These things has been sponsored by individual farmers. This one give a $500, this one a $50. So no government money was spent into this event. Please, let's give our chairperson a round of applause for that. And I'm also thanking those farmers and individuals who help us. Organizing such an event is not easy. And lastly, I would like to thank my team, the regional leadership. You know, when ministers and government officials are here, they don't distinguish that who's from the opposition, who's from the ruling party, because all of us are pulling in the same direction. Thank you very much. And lastly, I would like to thank the farmer. And I conclude, you have to go to Accra to go purchase some fodder and so forth so that you can claim your subsidy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Wenzel Kavaka, for the closing remarks and next steps. I shall ask all of us to please rise for the singing of the AU National Anthem. Yeah. In singing of the two anthems, I ask that we please remove our hats. The hats, please.
Let us all unite and celebrate together the victories won for our liberation. Let us dedicate ourselves to rise together to defend our liberty and unity. Oh, sons and daughters of Africa.
Please remain standing. Please remain standing so the high table can leave.